Hi everyone, I am Saniya, and in this video, I just want to talk to you guys about what dictionaries in Python represent behind the scenes, especially in Python Tutor, how to just visualize what the dictionary is doing. It's just mapping a key to a value, the same thing as a word to a definition. And I just want to show you what you can expect in Python Tutor if you are to visualize this behind the scenes. So let's get started really quickly. And I want to show you this is the dictionary I grew up with as well, one of the key dictionaries, and it was very helpful for me as well. So this is a real life dictionary, guys, real life. And look at all of the pages as well. Lots and lots of information. It's very comprehensive. You can see some keys and values like battleship, the most heavily armored warship, largely replaced by aircraft carriers themselves being superseded by missile carrying submarines. There's a lot. Biochemistry. There is Bingham Bingo, a gambling game in which each of several players has a numbered card. So you have a word to the definition. And then these things sort of help you navigate through this. Comedy of humors, comeback. A lot of these values. E in the dictionary. All these words start with E. England, English. There's a lot. There's so many pages in this dictionary. You always see like parfait, word to a definition, word key to value. Just what it looks like. So let's say that you have Python Tutor opened, and again, I have like another video where I talk about visualizing and better understanding, Python code. So again, I sort of have an example of how you can visualize Python code that I've kind of gone through. But here I want to talk about, like, let's say that you have Python code for a dictionary. You have some SAT words that you've done. So you have the word and then the definition for that word here. So you have a word and then you have the definition for that word. So you have a key and then you have a value that it's mapped to, for it to be able to buy. Allude, to make a secretive mention of something. And what a dictionary typically looks like is if you look up a word in a dictionary, even if we look up in Google nowadays, you look up a word in a dictionary and it's like you look up a word and you get some sort of a definition for that word. We can even go back in time where I still remember this, where you can look up a word in a dictionary and it's going to tell you the definition of those words. Definition. You can look up a word in a dictionary. Nevertheless, new. You look up a word like never ending, long and boring, nevermore, never again. New, recently made. You can look up all sorts of words in a dictionary. I still remember this. You can look up a word, abundant, marked by great plenty, amply supplied. You can get all the definitions for a word. And that's sort of like what these dictionaries in Python, they're trying to imitate. And I remember looking up words in these dictionaries here, learned, learning curve, a word and a definition. About, referring to something, right? So you have a part of speech and you can have some additional information. So that's like what a dictionary is. So we have a dictionary of these words and their associated definitions. Allude, to make a secretive mention of something. Tree, a plant having a permanently woody main stem or trunk. So all these definitions here. And then what we can do is we can take the keys in the dictionary. The keys is going to be essentially everything like right before this colon. These are all the keys. The keys are going to be the word of the dictionary. Like all these words here. And we can have them as a set of keys. All the words in the dictionary. We can also convert those to a list and then go through those lists of items. And when we go through them, we can print out end of one for loop. You can have this here. This is the end of one for loop. And I can so this is a word in SAT words list. So I'll just show you what this comes down to. We can visualize this execution here. Load this in. Go load in all these words into the dictionary for SAT words. So we finished loading in all these words. So SAT words dictionary, this variable of the dictionary, now has all these values here. It has the key, or the same thing as the word, and it has the value is here. The value are like the definitions. And the way that you can interpret that is just sort of like, see it from key to value. So if you look up anything in this dictionary, if you look up a word, you should be able to get to be able to buy. And that's sort of like how we can view it. Like we can just look up here, we can just print SAT words dictionary. We can look up a word in this dictionary, for instance, and print that out. If the word is not in the dictionary, and again, like dictionaries, they only have unique keys. So if this is a capital A articulate, it's different from the lowercase articulate. So we can have, if I try looking up mini effort here, it's going to give me an error because there's no little mini. So if I try looking up this effort, it's going to say key error. There's no such thing as a little a for effort in here. But if I print out this one, it's going to print out the definition of effort, which is to be able to buy. So I'm just going to get rid of this over here. And I'm going to also show you, now this will run, hopefully. This is how it's taking some feedback. I can just close this. Add in all of these things in here. To be able to buy is what this effort is doing. SAT words list is originally going to be defined as the keys of this dictionary here. And the keys of this dictionary are like afford, allude, tree, trip, trap, all of these things, articulate. And indeed, that's what this will be. All these keys here, articulate, all the keys. It'll be a dict keys instance, an instance of the dictionary keys. That's what this would be if we finish this. But I want to turn it to a list. So from dict keys to a list. So basically, what that item was is it's the following. It was just like all of these items here from afford onwards. All of these. Okay, all of these here. That's sort of what this was. And now when I turn it to a list, it's going to change to being a list object. Where everything is a list object of all these words. They all have items inside this list. Articulate the different versions. Avoid, caustic, caucus, catalyze, catalog. So all of that. And then I have this SAT words list here. And then for each word in this list, I want to print out SAT word and I want to go through it. So the first word in this list, so again, this same thing I represented as a list now. It's a list object. Ending with articulate the same order of 33 because 0 to 32 is the index, so 33 words here. I mean, these two are the same, but I just wanted to show you that keys are different. So we're going through a forward to be able to buy, and so for word a forward, then we finished printing out SET word. That's what we're going to print out, SET word a forward, end of one for loop. Print this out here. Then what we do is we change a forward. So we go here and we just finished this line. It just finished executing. So we're going to go here and then basically update it to being pointing to allude. Allude next. Then we print SET word allude, end of one for loop. Print this out here and go back and update it to being tree. End of one for loop. So we keep going through essentially the same list of these keys are the same here. So we're just going through each of these and printing out the list of all of the words in each loop. And if we want to get the definition of each word, like this, for instance, gave us the definition of a forward. So to do that, all we can do is just get word definition is just equal to SAT words dictionary with the word inside it. So this is the definition of the word variable. And then we can do print. The definition is, and then we can just add in the word definition. So each time we're going through the word in SET words list, which is just the list of all of these here, we'll just be printing out the associated definition, which is, each time we're going through, we're getting the word. The first time word will be a forward, and the definition of a forward was given by this. So in fact, we can even say that a forward definition is equal to this, and then we can print this out here. So similarly, we can just get for each word, we can get the word definition this way and then print it out this way. So just to show you, we're loading in all of these in here, and you can see the number of steps has increased. You just load in, keep going, loading in. And a forward definition is SAT words dictionary a forward. So a forward is to be able to buy. The same definition for a forward, which is what this was here. It's just going to be able to buy. And then we can go through, get the list, change it from a list object, a dictionary keys object to a list object here, to running this line here, converts it to a list. Then we're going through the loop, and each time word is a forward, the word definition is going to be equal to be able to buy, which is the same thing as a forward definition. The word definition is to be able to buy, which is what this is here. This is what we look up a word in a dictionary. And we print it out. The definition is to be able to buy. End of one for loop. We print this out. Then we go back into the for loop again. The new SAT word is now allude. So we move from a forward to allude. SAT word allude. The word definition for allude is going to be to make a secretive mention of something. To make a secretive mention of something. This got updated. And this is what we end up printing out. To make a secretive mention of something, allude. End of one for loop. We printed out the, all of this thing each time we're printing this out. Then what we're doing is we're changing word now to being tree. The tree, actually, we're going through this list. So this is word is now tree. And then we look up tree in the dictionary. And then for tree, the definition is a plant having a permanently woody main stem or trunk. So that's what we have here. We're going to update word definition to being this and print it out. Then we're going to do end of one for loop and print this. So each time we're just going through and updating. So for trip, we have a journey or voyage is what this word definition. This word definition is basically based on looking up, trip. It's basically what happens when you look up trip in the dictionary. That's sort of what happens. And then next time when we update it to being trap, a contrivance used for blah, 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 then this will be trap, and then this will be contrivance, and then instead we'll be looking up contrivance, we'll be printing it up. So basically, we can keep on doing this tier and trash, anything worthless, useless, or discarded, rubbish, etc. This is what will be associated with the word trash here. And then for trash, that's what we're going to print out. We just got the new updated word definition here. So when we finish all of this, what we should imagine is that you should see that we've gone through all of them, articulate, lowercase, and the capital uppercase here. They're the same. For void, caustic, for each loop, we've gotten the associated definitions. And we've gone in the order of this dictionary here, which was given by this here, by this same list. That was just a list of all these keys. And we've gone through each of them and printed out their definition. So that's just how you can kind of work with dictionaries or visualize them in. And we can also just, if we want to, we can add in another word to the dictionary. If we want to add in another word, we can add in SAT words dictionary, best then just like shameless promotion. So I can even add this in. You can see now it's like 244. They added in this extra. And now I also just added best YouTube channel, Saniya's channel. And now if we add to the SAT words list, articulate best YouTube channel, Saniya's. That's how you could do that. If you update something for afford up to be able to buy. So these are all, you can even update afford, for instance. If we want to change afford to being to be able to buy, for instance, we can even do something like, or even let's say we want to do allude. I can update a key. This is adding a key that did not exist, adding a new key. It's the same thing. This is overriding an old definition with an update because this allude exists in this dictionary. So allude, you can just say updated definition or something. So instead of being to make a secretive mention of something, let's say I just put some updated definition. I just overwrote the value. Then I can also see kind of what's happening here. Just running very quickly through this. So what we see here is that we have best YouTube channel. We added in my name here, Saniya's channel. And then if we have allude, to be a secretive mention of something, we can change this to being updated definition. And then it just goes through and it adds this. So if we go back to the best YouTube channel before, we did not have Saniya's channel. Best YouTube channel was not here, but we can add this in. We can even have multiple words as string. I just didn't want it to be, we could even make it best space YouTube space channel. It can be multiple words as long as it's in quotes. It could even be like best YouTube channel. Like that. It could be like this. So before there was no best YouTube channel key here. But then now there is. Once we finish executing this line, there was an allude before, but I'm just going to override it. So Python doesn't really give you warnings that way. So now when I go through this all the way to the end, we'll see that allude now instead has updated definition. So yeah, these are just some tricks with and tips with dictionaries. So it's just a mapping from a key to a value. So I hope that this was helpful. My name is Sanya. If you found that this was helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel. So thank you guys, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And please reach out if you have any questions at all.